October 24th, 2019. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 193 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
On the last episode, listener Doug called in talking about the roll-to-win craps machine / real table that they installed at Harrah's Cherokee. It's kind of like the shoot-to-win game, except you actually get to roll dice. And there's a stick man there, who kind of runs the game.
My brother was at Harrah's Cherokee yesterday and the day before.
Really? Did he see the machine?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him. He got home last night at like midnight, my mom said. So I'm going to see him this weekend. Okay. Almost certainly. So I'm going to ask him about that.
Well, good. Yeah. Anyway, Doug quite enjoyed it. Oh, and in fact, we met Doug at the summit. He just happened to be in Vegas the same weekend as the summit. So we actually met him on that Friday night at Caesar's Palace. So yeah,
he was just there for Friday. He was leaving Saturday morning, I think.
Yeah. So it was nice to meet you, Doug. Nice. Anyway, a listener, Mike, and his daughter were playing on the machine there at Harrah's Cherokee, and they had an unfortunate incident happen. So while they were playing, the person rolling the dice rolled an 8. And the way this table works is the stick person then enters the roll into like a keypad or something, right? And then presses a accept button or like a verify button or a are you sure button, right?
Yeah. So we're mixing technology with humans.
Correct.
Oh, boy. I know where this is going.
An 8 was rolled, but the stick person accidentally entered a 7, okay? So it wiped out everybody's bets. And at the time, Mike is thinking, okay, well, no big deal. They'll just press a button and it'll go back one roll. You figured there'd be something in place like that because of human error, right?
Right. Well, human error, Mark. How often does that happen?
Well, see? I mean, here I'm supposed to make some joke about how, it never happens, but, this technology should be able to handle a human error, right? Okay.
Continue.
Well, anyway, he said it took about 45 minutes to figure out what to do. Okay. People were being called over to see if they could figure it out. Nobody could.
Yeah.
Finally, a pit boss comes over and walks around to everybody's screen to see how much they had riding on all their bets. So I guess you can kind of see, what the previous state of all the bets were, right?
Okay.
So he goes around to some regular table games and picks up real casino chips.
Okay.
And hands those out to the people to make up for the bets that they lost.
That they lost on the 7 out.
On the 7 out. What he doesn't do, though, is pay people for winning on the 8, right? Because I'm sure plenty of people had money on the 8.
Well, if it was the point, yeah.
I don't think it was the point. He didn't say that it was the point.
Just 8 was rolled.
But, 8 was rolled, right?
Yeah, well, some people had some money on it.
For sure, and Mike was one of them. But the pit boss said, no, they couldn't figure that out. So they weren't able to, pay that.
Well, that might have come into sense, maybe.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's true. It could have come down to that.
Was betting $1.50 or something. And
anyway, sort of a nightmare. No one at the table got any compensation for the error, like, a free drink or a, buffet voucher or anything like that.
That would be too nice.
But here's the thing. Surely there must be a means in the machine for backing out a roll. I'm not saying that it would be easy necessarily, but this is going to come up a lot, right? This is not the first time and only time that this is going to happen, right?
I would think so.
Even when you train the dealer, make sure you're entering the correct roll. Yeah. Still, they get into a rhythm and they hit the accept. It's going to happen, right?
Oh, it happens every single flippin' roller at Harrah's Southern California Rincon.
They announced the wrong roll.
They announced the wrong roll. It happens all the time. Yeah. Or they get it right and they say 2-4, and then they push the number 2 card up, and the card that has a 4 on it
that actually
may not be in the 4 spot.
Yes,
happens all the flipping time.
So I don't know if that's a perfect analogy, but yes, human error. Okay,
human error.
So let's say that there isn't something on the machine to back this out, which to me is appalling. But let's say that there is.
Yeah.
You would think that the casino would be aware of this and there'd be something already in place to deal with this.
Right.
It wouldn't be some kind of 45-minute panic situation where they're trying to figure out what to do.
Well, obviously, when Skynet developed the game, Skynet didn't think that humans would be involved in it, and there would never be any error, so they didn't include that as an option. They didn't include human error.
Yeah, they just assumed that a T-800 would be there running the stick, 8 hot 8, right? There would never be
Make
a problem.
Your bets.
Anyway, so left a bad taste in Mike's mouth, and he even said that nobody was really cheering at the table. So he obviously had, aside from this mistake, had a different experience than Doug did.
Right.
So,
well, what would get me is not even that I didn't get paid on the 8, which would kind of stick in my craw, but the time that it must have took to figure it all out and pay everybody, I'd be thinking, oh my God, I could be at the buffet.
Well, again, I am anxious to play this, but we do agree this is not going to be the game for you anyway.
No.
Probably because of the limits and because of the timer that goes pretty quickly. That's something Mike also complained about. So.
One day when we do like a 9-hour episode, if you can bet on that, then we can spend 4.5 hours talking about how technology sucks.
Okay.
And then you can spend 4.5 hours talking about how humans suck.
Between the two of us, we got everything covered.
We got it all covered.
Well, we got an email from another listener named Mike. There are a lot of Mikes. There are a lot of calls from Mikes, a lot of emails from Mikes. So it's not...
Mike's the new David.
Mike's the new David. Anyway, Mike recently hit 25,000 tier credits under Caesar's rewards. Now, 15,000 tier credits gets you diamond status, but 25,000 gets you into the Laurel lounges for free. When you're a diamond member with fewer than 25,000 tier credits, you'll typically get charged for entering the Laurel lounge. Right, they charge you like $10, and it's got to come off of your reward credits.
Yeah, because you get drinks. It's the drinks.
It's the free thing. But so 25,000 is where you get into the Laurel Lounge for free. And next year, the 25,000 tier credit mark is going to be called Diamond Plus.
Yeah.
So that's how you'll know that you can get into the Laurel Lounge for free. Anyway.
That's just to make the humans feel good about themselves.
Yeah, that's right. Plus.
Yeah, you're a plus.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter to a machine.
No, a machine be plus. Doesn't even make sense. Yeah.
So anyway, Mike was wondering what an estimate would be of how much money he lost to get to that 25,000 tier level mark. And he thought this information might be interesting to other listeners as well. Maybe people who don't really keep track of their wins and losses.
Right.
And think, okay, what theoretically did I get to?
Well, there's no way to figure that out, but we can give you a rough estimate. It's 4,200 well drinks.
That's it? All 4,200 well drinks?
4,200 well drinks.
That you have to buy?
No, that's how much you would have lost. You lost...
the value of 4,200 well drinks. Okay. Well, let's not just rely on Mike's calculations. Let's actually go through some real math here. Now, first of all, there's so many ways you can calculate this. I mean, really, there's no solid answer. But here, let's just do this. Here's a way that will result in what I think is a low estimate of the theoretical loss that you have when you're earning these tier credits. Okay, let's assume that all you play is 8-5 jacks or better video poker. Right now, 9-6 is full pay jacks or better, but if you play that as Caesar's property, they're going to cut back on how many tier credits you earn.
Yeah, you get fewer tier credits.
So let's just say 8-5 jacks or better, and when you play that game, you will get 1 tier credit for every $10 coin in. Okay. That's typical of most video poker that isn't full pay. 1 credit for every $10 coin in. Okay, so that means that for every 5,000 tier credits you earn, you will have played $50,000 coin in, resulting in a loss of around $1,350 because the payback on 8-5 jacks or better is around 97.3% if you play it perfectly.
Right.
Okay, so we're making a lot of assumptions
That's a big
here.
assumption.
Okay, but the bottom line here is that for every $1,350 you lose playing this game, that'll earn you 5,000 tier credits. Okay. 5,000 is what will get you platinum status at Caesar's Rewards. Okay. 15,000 is what gets you diamond status. So to earn that, theoretically, you will lose $4,052. That's for diamond.
Okay.
To get to this, what's going to be called Diamond Plus, 25,000 tier credits, you will have lost $6,750 approximately. And let's talk about 7 stars, which is 150,000 tier credits. To get to that point, theoretically, playing this way, you will have lost $40,500 approximately.
About one bladder full of well drinks.
Yes, that's right. One bladder, maybe a T800 bladder. So again, there are so many ways to earn tier credits. So this is more like an academic exercise than anything in reality.
Yeah, you're just assuming that, say, somebody only played 8-5 video poker, played it perfectly. Theoretically, this is what and this doesn't take into effect luck or...
No, absolutely not. But this is what Caesars as a company is looking at when they're thinking, okay, what makes sense for upping them to the next tier level?
Yeah.
What kind of play should
Caesars
they give
is thinking, well, if they lose $6,000, we'll give them a well drink.
That's right.
I don't know. And maybe a show ticket to see Donnie and Marie.
Okay. That's funny, the whole well drink thing. We all enjoy that, including myself. But the $6,000 will get you not just a well drink and a show to Donnie and Marie, who are ending their residency, by the way. Yeah. So you might be too late for that anyway. You will also get Diamond Plus status.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which is good if you're a human.
It is good.
If you're a machine, means nothing.
It means nothing. A well drink means nothing to them. Yeah. Okay, so we are back from the summit. Let's talk about the summit finally. So we drove there on that Thursday beforehand and actually hit quite a bit of traffic.
Yeah, it was crazy how much traffic we had.
We didn't actually leave to your house till about 3 o'clock, so I guess we really shouldn't have been surprised. But we hit it right away, and it wasn't until we got up to the high desert that it really cleared out. So, but we got there about 9 o'clock. I went downtown and talked with Tim and Eric a bit, and we did a recording for The Better Life that's already been released. And you were playing at Caesars. That's where you ran into Doug.
That's where I ran into Doug. Yeah. And we were talking. I said, well, Mark's going to come back here. So, he was hanging out until you got there.
Oh, that was nice.
He was waiting for midnight. Doug. I said, probably be around midnight when he gets back. About it.
And I guess I should say up front, we don't have any really good gambling stories to tell.
No.
I know one of the listeners was saying, hey, I want to hear a good story. There aren't any.
Yeah.
I mean, we can say, we won a little here, lost a little here. No, there was nothing.
We had a few good runs at Planet Hollywood where we won some money, but that was really the only place where I ended up winning, leaving a table ahead.
Yeah. But anyway, the next morning we had the craps meetup at Golden Gate that Tim and Eric had put together. That was great because we basically took over the 2 craps tables there. That was really terrific. We actually were winning for a little while. I think ultimately we kind of lost and it
started off
out,
winning and then it got cold.
But that was a great first meetup. So many people there, and then right after that was sort of the official summit meetup, so we were able to see Tim and Michelle and all the regular summit attendees, the gang, the Vegas nerds.
Right. And
then after the parade, we actually headed back to the Strip and played a little bit. And again, not really no stories to tell. That next day, that Saturday, it just went so terribly.
Yes.
And we ended up going to the main event, which was kind of a nice break. That was good as always. Miss Nomer had a game show going that was very funny.
Very funny.
And Hunter had a good interview with Derek Stevens. Then, of course, Tim and Michelle did 5 Honey. So, that was a great time. But after that, we went back down to the Strip. We played at Harrah's for a little while and Caesar's Palace. And Mike, it was one of those times where we really were just not enjoying ourselves. The only reason we were playing was to try to win back some of our losses. And it was just one of those times where we did not like it.
Yeah,
it was no fun.
It was not enjoyable. I mean, so much so that you went to bed.
Yeah.
We got back to Caesars, and I played just a little longer, and then I went to bed.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm usually while I'm down, I'm going to get it back. I just need one hot shooter. I'll get it back. No, I just gave up. I had it at that point.
And even the next morning, we got off to an early start. I texted you and said, "Well, you going to play, Andy?" And you were just no.
Nope.
I wasn't interested. We didn't stop on the way. So anyway, gambling-wise, not all that good.
Not to say we didn't have overall an enjoyable time.
Oh, yeah, we had a great time. It just kind of ended on a sour note.
Ended on a sour note.
Anyway.
That Saturday was bad. Yeah. Friday wasn't so bad. Even though we lost.
Friday was fine. I remember when we woke up Saturday morning, we were both down, but we looked at each other and it was like, oh boy, we're within striking distance here.
It was so minimal. It was like, this is nothing.
That's the way it went. We did write some things down here we want to talk about. First of all small, tall. You played that the whole time. I don't think you hit an all, did you? Once?
No. I hit half of
one way or the
several
other.
Times.
Something that we thought was really funny. We were playing at Bally's, and they have a $5 minimum on the all small tall, which is not unusual these days. But you mentioned when we were playing there, well, you can bet $1 over at Caesar's Palace.
Right. Caesar's Palace lets you put $1 on the all tall, all small.
On a $25 minimum table at Caesar's, right?
At Bally's, at a $15 table, you can only put $5.
$5, right. And, their rationale makes sense. They said, well, with the dollars, it gets so complicated out there. And I understand that. Yes. But why would the Bally's property have that rule and not Caesar's Palace, their flagship, supposedly high-end location?
Yeah, it is crazy. Although at Caesar's, I did not see a lot of people betting it. Not like
that's
at
true.
Bally's, where there were quite a few more bets on the all tall, all small there.
Yeah.
Now, where was it? We were somewhere where somebody made the all, but I got there one roll late.
Oh, yeah, it was at Golden Gate, and it was Josh.
Who
had rolled it, right?
Josh
and we
Golden
came up,
Gate.
yeah.
Right. Now it rings a bell.
Yeah.
Josh at Golden Gate. We came up, and he had already had one roll.
Right.
And it was like an 11.
Yeah,
right?
he had
just
like started his roll, so you couldn't get on the bet. Yeah,
it wasn't even a point established yet, but he had made an 11. They moved it out. He hit them all.
Yeah. So that was kind of the way the luck worked. I will say for Bally's, there was a pit boss there. I think it was in the morning.
Yes.
It was Saturday, so all the college football games were going on.
Right.
And he was so great and accommodating. And he came over and he said, "Hey, are you guys interested in a specific game? There's already a game on the TV right behind us." And he said, "Is there a game you're particularly interested in? Because I see the one that's behind us here is already on that one over there that you can see." Just a super nice guy.
Yeah, he wanted to make sure he was watching two games at the same time.
Harry was his name. Yeah, he was great.
He was a great pit boss.
Yeah.
Not just because of that. He was just a good pit boss. Yeah. He was interactive with the players, number one. Mm-hmm. And number two, he was watching everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And things were running smoothly. He was on top of that game.
Yeah. And we also had good experiences at Planet Hollywood's. Great cruise there.
As always,
it's
Planet Hollywood consistently has good dealers at craps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, by far,
engaging.
By far of all the places we played over the weekend, we enjoyed ourselves the most at Planet Hollywood.
Yeah, and they know the game.
Yeah, they sure do.
They know the game, and I'm going to talk about later about people who don't know the game.
Okay,
but at Planet Hollywood, like June and several of the other dealers, they know that game, and it's so quick and so easy and so fast, and I love that. As a seasoned player, I like it to go fast.
Right, yes.
I mean, I get a lot more out of playing there.
Well, since you mentioned that, because I know you want to talk about some of these frustrations, let me play a call that we got from Taylor, who surprised us. We didn't think he was coming. He and Tara, they have this new puppy.
Right.
But he came over just like for the main event, just that day, and surprised us.
We saw him only for a few minutes.
Yeah, it was very quick. But let's listen to this call.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Taylor from New Mexico. It was great seeing you at the summit. Just wanted to call you before I forgot that. Kind of wanted to hear what you thought of that craft session before the main event at Golden Gate. So there are three things I remember. One was a guy who the stick person passed the dice and anyway, kind of wondering what you thought. Also, on the other side, there was some hoopla about something, and one guy walked off like he stole $10 from me or something like that. And lastly, what did you think of the crew? Was it on average like subpar than usual? They couldn't seem to get Dr. Mike's bets, the come out bets correctly, like every time, even the box person. Anyway, great seeing you guys. We'll see you next time.
All right. Great to see you, Taylor. Yeah, that was a nice surprise. Let's talk about the first thing he said. There was this player that was just to the right of the stick.
Right.
And they accidentally went past him when they were passing the dice, right? It was his turn to roll.
Dealer
And they just
skipped him.
They just missed him, right?
Yeah.
And somebody called attention to it. And,
he did.
Okay, fine. And then, so they let him roll. But he was pissed.
Yeah.
Even once they sent the dice to him.
Yeah.
It was like this affront to him. It was an honest mistake. And this guy was so angry.
He was angry because they had missed him. And the funny thing is, he did not have a good roll.
No, it was like an immediate.
He established a point and immediately 7 down.
Thanks.
I was thinking, you bitched about that?
Well, he probably blamed it on them skipping him. Well, that's because you did that.
Right.
Now, this second thing, I don't know that I saw this. Do you know what he's talking about, Taylor?
No. When he said that, I don't remember that.
Hoopla on the other side of the table. that one we must have missed, Taylor. So I don't think we
might have been talking.
Yeah, it could have been. But yeah, talk about your bets on the come out.
Yes. So I make a world bet on the come out, and I mainly do it because I make a two-way, 25 for me and 5 for the dealers. And it's my way of always having a tip for the dealers.
Right.
So if it's an immediate out and we don't win anything, they at least had a chance on the come out.
So you're making a world bet, but you're also making quite a few more prop bets.
I'm also making a bet on 7. So a 3-way bet on 7. And sometimes I have, a horn high ace deuce, or sometimes I just have ace deuce and high low.
Right. I just want to paint the picture. You don't only have a world bet out there, but okay, go ahead.
But what happened is, and this kept happening, 7 would be rolled on the come out. So my 7 bet wins. The world bet is a push.
Yeah, anytime a 7 comes up, the world bet is a push.
Because it's a 5 bets. It's a 2, a 3, 11, 12, and a 7.
Right.
And the 7 pays 4 to 1. So, I lose 4 bets, but I win 4 with the 7. So it's a push. It's a wash.
Right.
The other bets, you actually make some money.
Yeah, you have to figure that out. But anytime a 7 comes up, the world bet is a push. Yes.
And every single time, I am not exaggerating here, Mark.
No, you're not, Mike. You're not.
Every single time 7 would come up, they would subtract all my bets and the world out of it.
Yep.
And I'd say, no, that's not right. The world's a push. You can take away the other $20 or whatever, but the world's a push. That $30 is a push. And Mark, it would happen when someone rolled 2 7s in a row. They do it on the second one.
Mike is not exaggerating. Mike was screaming into the center, the world is a push.
And then at one point, the pit boss did it because he's like, okay, well, let's get this right. And he took the world out.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, how you're a professional, supposedly, right?
And
I know maybe they don't get the action there. Maybe they don't get a lot of people betting the world.
That's fine. But after a few times.
You can screw up once, twice. I'll be patient, but every single time. And we were there for like an hour and a half, and they never got it right.
Yeah. And it was such a shame because it was you, me, Eric Rosenthal, Tim Lawson, Taylor. We were all in a row. Right. It was like the perfect situation. We're all there to play craps. And this was going. It was really a shame.
It's a big cluster. Every time 7 was rolled on the come out. And they weren't the greatest crew.
No, it was disappointing. We always talk about how Golden Gate is a great place to play, but this was particularly bad.
Yes, this wasn't a crew. Yeah. And I don't want to sound like I'm putting anybody down because God knows we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's part of life.
Yeah.
But, you've got to at least do your job adequately. And if you're not, you probably shouldn't, maybe you weren't trained properly or there's some issue there, but maybe there needs to be some kind of training. Now, somebody's not going to make a world bet if they don't know about it. But if they happen to, if they saw someone else do it, I'm going to try one of those, and they didn't know, they would have lost every time on that 7, right? They might have not known. A lot of people, especially at craps, rely on the dealers to know what they're doing and where their bets are and everything.
And it's terrible because we went to the main event after that. And then, like I said, we went and played afterwards and we weren't having a good time. You had the same problem at Harrah's. Yeah. You even had the same problem at Caesar's Palace.
Yeah, I had that problem at Caesar's Palace. Yeah. Caesar's Palace.
Yeah. Planet Hollywood was the only place. You didn't run into that problem.
No, I didn't run into that. Caesar's Palace, they didn't get it over and over wrong, but a few times they would get it wrong.
Yeah.
And, one thing too, so many times now, it seems like in Vegas, they talk about amenities at casinos. We're going to have a great pool. We're going to have the great this. The rooms are going to be nicer and everything. And a lot of people like that.
Sure. And those are important things to people who typically attend the summit.
Yeah. For once, though, I'd like to hear somebody like an owner talk about what they're going to do for gamblers. Like, we're going to make this a place for gamblers.
Yeah.
Like, we want gamblers to come here, which is where I always thought Vegas was.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that because on a recent episode of The Better Life, Tim interviewed Jonathan Jossel, who's CEO for the Plaza downtown. And they did talk about that. And even Jossel was even saying, we're bringing in a 0 roulette wheel. that we
Right.
haven't had before. He was talking about appealing to gamblers and getting down there. So we know that it can be done.
Yeah. I mean, you can do both.
Yeah, so of course.
But it seems like so many places have gotten away from the gambling's like a sidelight now.
I mean, and that's what's been happening in Las Vegas because there are so many more gambling opportunities now in America.
In America, right. And I understand that. And I understand if they want to try and draw people by having a great pool and everything. But still to get the gamblers in there, which are dropping chunks of money.
Yeah.
I would think they'd want to, have dealers who are trained, who made it a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
Because we were losing and it wasn't that much fun.
No.
I still tipped on every come out roll.
Mm-hmm.
And when the table was winning, when we were having a winning roll, I made other bets for them because that's what I do. Mm-hmm. But boy, afterwards I was thinking, I should have just stopped tipping. But but it goes against my nature because these people work for tips.
Yeah, they're not being rude.
No, they were not
doing
being rude.
Anything intentionally.
They just weren't trained well. And I'm just thinking, why wouldn't a casino train people better?
Yeah.
I mean, if I owned a casino and it was my money that was being shelled out, I'd train them good because number one, I don't want to rip myself off.
Right.
Number two, I don't want to rip the customer off.
Yeah.
That's worse than ripping yourself off because then the customer finds out and never comes back. You lose a customer. It's more important that they keep coming back than I make money. So I would make sure my dealers were all trained good.
Yeah. Well, let's end this summit conversation on a high note. We got to meet the two morons who talk about casinos and stuff,
right?
Teabag and Spike, their podcast, Two Morons Talking About Casinos and Stuff. We finally got to meet them, and that was great. We had listened to what was then the most recent episode on the drive over,
right?
And we were dying.
We were laughing in the car
so hard.
And that does make the trip nice when you have like 30, 40 minutes of laughter.
Yeah, and they were such great guys. Now, if you haven't listened to the show, please do. Keep in mind, it is not safe for work.
Yes.
It's not politically correct.
No.
They definitely...
And if you're easily offended, you might not want to listen
go
either.
for it, but oh my gosh, we were dying some of the things.
See, now I can't be offended. I pretty much can't be offended.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Yeah.
And so anything you say, I'll laugh at.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to disparage anybody or be mean to anybody or anything like that. Right. But they say some pretty funny stuff.
Yeah, they do. So anyway, guys, it was great to meet you.
Yeah, that's a good listen. My wife liked it. Yeah, and she was like, "Oh yeah, they're pretty funny."
They're pretty funny. So anyway, that was the summit again. Thanks to Hunter and Tim and Michelle and Miss Nomer for putting everything on. So yeah, I'm glad we were able to do that after a 2-year hiatus.
Yeah, it was good, and I hope it is every year.
Yeah, I hope so too.
It's nice to see all the people that we don't see that often.
Yeah, right.
Either,
yes,
so
exactly.
That's good. That's the only time we see Tim and Michelle.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that I've seen him in Vegas any other time.
No.
So.
Yeah. Well, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's get to some voicemails. First up is John.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. John from New York calling with another review of a Northeast casino. Dr. Mike will enjoy hearing that this particular casino is in a town called King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. It's called Valley Forge Casino.
I love that.
Yeah, that Valley Forge just down the road. And it is extremely small. We were in the area for our nephew's wedding, and with the casino just a couple miles from the hotel, how could we resist not checking it out? Valley Forge is owned by Boyd Gaming and claims to be 40,000 square feet of gaming space. They must be counting the bathrooms and the food court, because this place is small. You walk in, you have no problem seeing the not-so-very-far-away wall straight across from you. And that goes for the ones to the right and the left as well. The center bar takes up a bunch more of the space. However, it's really quite nice, with a greater percentage of space dedicated to table games than in many larger casinos. They have 4 craps tables, plenty of blackjack, as well as baccarat, pie-gow, tiles, and poker, and a variety of carny games to go along with a good variety of slots. There's no real poker room. Just one small area of video poker with okay pay tables that they do allow you to use your free play on. We visited on a Friday afternoon when they had 2 open and very full $10 craps tables. Blackjack ranged from $15, $25, and $50 on the main floor, with $100 in the high limit room. Of course, there's good PA rules, 3-2 on blackjack, standing on all 17s, split to 3 hands, double after split, late surrender, and 8 decks. And here they're hand shuffled. The craps tables were so full, I just didn't want to bother to try to squeeze in and opted for blackjack instead. The dealers were all very friendly and competent. At one point, a quirky young gentleman was playing at my table who was routinely taking quite a while to make his decisions. On one particular hand, he had 6-4 versus a dealer face card. He wanted to double, but he wasn't sure, so he slowly, methodically pulls a very tattered basic strategy card out of his pocket and unfolds it. After looking up his answer and talking to no one in particular, he says rather dejectedly, "It's just a hit," and then proceeds to double anyway. Sadly for him, he pulls a 5, and the dealer has another face card down for a 20. I end up covering my wife's losses with my BJ win, so all's good. Our visit here was quite nice, and if you're in the area for a few hours to kill, we definitely recommend Valley Forge Casino, though we certainly wouldn't make a special trip just to come here. Mark, Dr. Mike, thanks for everything you do, and we'll give you another call if we hit another casino. Thanks.
We all know people like that who, the guy who pulled the basic
Card
strategy
out
of his pocket. It's like he knows what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Now he just wants some sort of verification that that's the correct move. And no matter what he finds out, he's still going to do what he wanted to do. He just would have been a lot happier if it had been.
He knows the right thing to do, but he's going to do what he wants anyway.
Yes, I may know somebody else like that.
Yeah.
That is one good thing about Pennsylvania. All the casinos have to follow the same blackjack rules. So you're not going to see 6 to 5 there, or,
That's
any
nice.
of those things.
Yeah.
So that is one nice thing about the Pennsylvania rules.
Well, I love King of Prussia.
You like that?
Yeah. How many cities are 3 words?
Well, is that a rhetorical question?
No, not rhetorical, but just interesting.
All right, let me just hit pause here and then I'll look it up on the internet.
Yeah. Around the world.
Anytime I get a question like that from Mike is, do you really want to know the number?
Yeah, maybe some person out there actually knows. Well, if you take the entire world.
Well, you think of all those towns in England.
Right.
It's like bourgeois on Thames, right?
Yeah.
Right.
England, they probably. Yeah, in America, there's not too many.
Not as much, yeah, in America, yeah.
And it's Valley Forge is in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania.
It's real close there, yeah.
Yeah, so this is probably a place I'd like to visit.
Okay.
I mean, with that much gaming and 4 craps tables, I'd probably go to this
4 craps tables for a small casino, that's pretty good.
That's great. Yeah. And, as far as counting the bathrooms and the food eating areas as square footage, they should. It's a gamble.
Okay.
I mean, anytime I'm in the bathroom or the buffet, I figure I'm gambling.
Okay. Since you said that, I do want to talk about something that happened this summit I forgot about. We ate at the D Grill, and we were going to play Keno.
Yes.
And, the Keno boards were up there, and we filled out Keno cards, and people kept coming by. Oh, should I send the Keno runner over?
The busboy asked us, the waiter asked us, some other person just walked by. Oh, you need the Keno runner? Yeah. Oh, I'll send him over.
Yeah, nobody ever came.
Nobody ever came.
We wanted to play Keno, we couldn't.
No, nobody ever came. And the funny thing is, the Keno board kept changing.
Sure,
there were games going on. Yeah, no, they blackballed us from Keno.
Yeah, they sure did.
Evidently, they've heard of my Keno strategy.
Yeah, so, when we left, we threw our Keno cards on the floor and we didn't tip the waiter. So
yeah. I may not be an advantage player, but when it comes to Keno, I definitely have the advantage.
Yeah, and just to make it clear, we tipped the waiter.
Yes. So, he was a great guy.
Yeah, he was. He used to live in San Diego.
He used to live in San Diego. He even told us,
he
said, I may never leave your table, because he wanted to find out what's going on in San Diego.
Changed,
how things had changed.
Yeah, he noticed because we were wearing those Padre hats that we wore in honor of Al from San Diego. So
Right.
All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Dane from Chicago. I've been listening to the podcast for about a month or so now, and I love the stories and jokes that get cracked every episode, and they really brighten my work week driving Uber every day, which can be pretty monotonous with all this Chicagoland traffic. Had a story I'd share with you guys, as well as a strategy I haven't heard you guys mention about using your slot free play on the video poker machines. I'll start with that. We've got video roulette by us, and I know you won't get maybe the wins that you would get playing video poker, but if you were to place every number on the table, including the zeros, seems like you'd come out with about $473 of guaranteed money as opposed to risking it on the video poker. So I don't know, just maybe throwing that strategy out there. Now, on to this hilarious story. There's a guy that has started coming to the Aurora Hollywood Casino. He calls himself the Craps God. Well, I saw him throw the first couple times that I went, and he seemed to just be throwing the dice all over the place. They'd bounce off the table 3 or 4 times in a row, just trucking them down there, not really even trying to control him, it seemed like. One day I actually went up and stood next to him and didn't really talk with him much. He doesn't really talk much. I always play the fire bet, and seeing as how crazy of a roller he was, I decided not to with him. Unfortunately, that time he did end up making 5 points, which would have been a nice payout considering I'm a low roller, but still was able to make some money off of him roll that time. Came back about a month or so later, and it was during the week, maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Not a super busy time for the craps table there, but when I walked up, the table was packed. He had a huge crowd of people around him, and as goofy as it was, had a bunch of red chips in front of him. It's probably anywhere from 80 to 100 in his rack. And upon me walking up, he put all of it in a huge stack on the come bet, and the dealers rolled their eyes. He does not play with any $25, $100, $500 chips, so all he would put out there were his red chips. One humongous tower in the middle of the table. He threw a 5. His bet had to be then slid from the come all the way over to the 5. And lo and behold, rolled a 5 on the very next throw and demanded that the dealers pay him in red chips, at which point they had to slide his pile back towards him, stacked another huge tower of red chips next to it, and pushed it all back to him. I thought that was probably one of the most crazy things I've seen at the dice table, so I figured I'd share that with you guys. Keep up the good work. Hopefully I'll see you around the Chicago area soon. Bye.
The Craps God.
The Craps God. Self-anointed, I assume.
We've seen people like that who insist on being paid a certain way.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's fine if it's, okay, a stack of green, you want to get paid that way. But a big stack of red and insisting on it. And I don't know. Everybody enjoys themselves in their own way. But
I got 2 things to say about
all
that.
right.
Number one, remember that lady at Harris Rincon? We haven't seen her in a long time. That would put her chips in the field. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't that it was a big stack or anything. It's just they had to be arranged a certain way.
Leaning a little bit.
Leaning a little bit or just off a little or something. And if the dealer straightened them out, she would have a fit.
Oh, she'd go ballistic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
or if they touched him in any way.
Yeah, like you just jinxed me.
Yep.
And the dealers, the ones, especially the ones who like a nice clean layout, they're always adjusting everything.
Yeah.
And, oh my God.
I remember her.
We used to get a kick out of just watching her get upset.
Yeah. Yep.
The other thing is, though, remember there was a guy, maybe you didn't even actually see him, but he was at Harris Rincon one weekend, and he was a craps expert, and he actually had business cards, and he taught people how to play craps.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't there, but you gave me his card,
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because, okay, well, let's see how this guy plays. So when he played almost like me, Mark. And even I will not teach anybody to play craps like me because even though it's fun and I enjoy it, it's probably not the best way to play craps.
No, it's not.
Okay. So this guy taught like me and, but he was a craps professor, a teacher of the game.
Yeah.
Now, if that means I'll teach you every possible bet, then maybe I guess that.
Okay, yeah,
but I assume when someone teaches it, they're teaching you to play
a strategy at least.
Strategy so that
money management, something, yeah.
Right, so you don't lose as much.
Yeah.
So when someone calls themselves the craps guy, I get a kick out of that.
And then getting back to what Dane was saying about making all the bets on a roulette table, I don't remember if we talked about it on the show, but I know we talked about it at least between the two of us.
We have.
As a way, it's a way to guarantee that you're going to get some money back.
Right.
It's not the best way to play your free play in the long run.
Right.
But if for some reason you wanted to, it would certainly guarantee you a payout if you could do it. If the machine would let you do it, or if you were at a real table and they let you do it.
Yeah.
So you're probably more likely to be able to do it on a machine, but I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Some places have a problem with that on a real table. You're putting $5 on every bet.
Right.
Especially with free play, because that's pretty obvious what you're doing.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if you just do all your free play and then don't do anything else.
Right. All right. Next up is Jason.
Hey, gentlemen. It's Jason from Michigan. I'm a regular listener, and a avid gambler. Me and my wife are coming up on our 25th wedding anniversary, and we both love to gamble. We've been going out to Vegas twice a year for about 20 years in a row, but we want to do something different. I wondered if anything you guys could recommend. I live in Michigan. We want to head out to the West Coast area, looking to do maybe a spa-type place with some hiking, some other activities, but also have a very nice casino within the vicinity or stay at the property that would offer all those amenities. Now, I know you gentlemen are out that way. I wonder if you could recommend any properties that we could do that, and look forward to hearing your answer. Thanks. Have a great day.
I would recommend Sequan. And Mike, I don't know that you have
here
been
in
there.
San Diego,
right? I can only speak for places that I've been, but I don't know if you've been since the remodel, which has been a while. But it is a beautiful facility.
Right,
has everything you would need. It's out where there's plenty of hiking. There's all sorts of things to do out there. When we went recently, my wife even said, wow, I'd kind of like to come out here and just stay a weekend.
Yeah.
Like kind of a staycation. So that would be my recommendation. Sequan Casino Resort, which is here in the San Diego area.
Yeah, there's also casinos in Palm Springs.
Oh, that's true too.
And so if you really want, a lot of stuff to do, I mean, you were looking for a spa retreat and stuff, Palm Springs.
That's true. Yeah, there are a lot of casinos in that area.
You have the casino,
another good suggestion.
You have they all have spas and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of places to go. Go up the top of San Jac. That is the tram ride up there, or you can hike the back way.
Yeah. Well, let us know, Jason. Congratulations on the anniversary. Let us know what you decide and how it goes. All right. I promised you a lot of mics.
All right.
Here's a mic.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Mike from Atlanta. Just listened to your podcast, started earlier this year, and gone through them all. Love the show. It's great. Thanks for all what you do. And I wanted to give an extra thank, Mark, to Dr. Mike about basically making a hard way bet and adding the dealers onto it. So this weekend I went to Cherokee and Murphy, and within 24 hours, I at least made $600 for the dealers and tips. Doing a $10 hard way with a $2 piggyback, and I made 3 of those bets where I parlayed and made $900 and made $200 each for the dealers. So that was great. That was fun. When I went home, at least the dealers had $600. I had none, unfortunately. I got a little crazy with extra bets, trying to keep up the hard way bets. So I know Mark's happy about that, but. Anyway, it's great fun. The dealers really enjoyed it, got into the game more, made the night go by. It was fun. And again, thank you for all you do for the show. I appreciate it. Thanks again.
Well, I don't know if I'm happy about that, but I've certainly seen that happen.
Yeah, was that me you called it? Was that me?
Yep. Mike, sometimes that will be the difference between a winning session and a losing session is trying to keep those parlayed hard ways up. Yep.
Yeah. But I love it when the dealers hit them.
Yeah, it is
and
nice.
you're sitting there and you're like, oh, I broke you. But the dealers took home $1,500.
Yeah,
that's all right.
that's not bad. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark, Dr. Mike. It's Neil from Riverside. I just thought it was funny because the phone number is 951-2-WAGERS. And since I'm from Riverside, all I ever have to do is spell 2 wagers.
Oh, yeah. Our voicemail hotline, I just tried to find a number that had something to do with gambling in it. That's how I came up with the 2 wagers. And that 951 area code, yeah, it's actually the number I think is associated with Hemet, California, which is north of here in Riverside County. So, yeah, it's not that area code's not close to where we live. It's like, 100 miles away.
That's just where we do our business.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Cool. Just wanted to give you a short trip report. My wife and I spent this Columbus Day going to first Pechanga, staying there and having a great time. I am a unabashed low roller. I loved when Adam was doing the Vegas fanboy cast because he was all about, long live the red chip. And so I'm kind of that player too.
Yeah, why did Adam stop that podcast? Yeah. He really let a lot of people down by converting the travel fanboy.
Right.
What a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame.
What a terrible shame. All right, back to the call.
But then we also went to Paula, and we didn't know what it was going to be like, but they gave us $35 in food credit and $20 in free play for signing up for their Players Club. We saw on their website that they diligently always have a $5 table on virtually every game that they offer. So we indeed played $5 blackjack, and we found a $5 craps table. My wife used her non-negotiable chips to play for about 45 minutes without playing any of her own money except for tipping the dealers. She kept winning and winning and winning and came up $100 off of her 4 $5 chips. It was a continuous shuffler machine. Because of that, it was 3-2 blackjack. They let us not only split aces, but re-split aces up to 4 times. And then you can surrender before you hit. And the craps table was great, $5. Had the fire bet, 5 times odds, had hot bets on the layout, double for 2s in the field, triple for 12s in the field. So kind of everything I'm looking for. Just a really slow table. Maybe it was because the table was packed. The dealers were very sure of themselves and knew what they were doing. But yeah, the table was very slow, which was great because my wife likes to pay attention, and if it's moving fast, she kind of loses place and that kind of stuff. So overall, it was a great trip for a little Columbus Day getaway, and we had a great time in the north. All right, thank you guys so much for what you do. Bye.
Oh, good. Some love for Paula. The location, it's just people coming from the south, they stop at Harrah's. Right. People coming from the north, they stop at Pechanga. It's kind of an unfortunate location, so it's nice to see them getting some love.
Paula's a good place. I don't know why we don't play there more.
Well, because
they don't offer us a lot.
And it's just a little bit further than Harrah's, and we get a lot from Harrah's. That's really the bottom line. We should go there again sometime. We know some dealers who have gone over there.
Who work there now. Yeah, we should visit them.
Yeah. All right, next up is Jeff.
Hey guys, it's Jeff from Los Angeles, and I wanted to pick your brains on what you think about MGM selling Circus Circus, especially for the amount that they sold it for. It's like $825 million. That is shocking to me. A week ago, if you would have said, do you think they would sell it or demolish it in a year, I would have went with demolishing the place. To me, that's a really low-end casino and a horrible location on the Strip. I'm shocked that it's being sold for that amount of money. I guess it's that Phil Ruffin who's buying it. He bought Treasure Island for less money than that, and that's a much better property in a better location. So your thoughts on that? Also, MGM, whenever you start selling a property, it's never really a good sign. I wonder if they're doing okay. Just an idea. What's going on over there? Great show. Keep up the good work. Take care, guys.
Yeah, Phil Ruffin paid $825 million for Circus Circus, but Jeff, keep in mind, he also got Slots of Fun as part of that deal.
Right.
Okay, so you got to take that into account when you look at the bottom line.
That's Lots of Fun is worth something
it's
there.
Something. But no, okay, Ruffin bought Treasure Island for $775 million in 2009. Now, that was right after the economic downturn.
Right. So he probably got a pretty good deal.
That was a big part of it. Plus, in 2019 dollars, that's about $925 million. That's kind of a big difference. Plus, T.I. now is probably worth about twice what he paid for it.
Right.
So that's kind of a big difference.
Right.
So I don't know if it's a good deal for him or not, and I don't know what he plans on doing with it. But
yeah, well, I mean, Circus Circus has a name.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you're buying something, you're buying the brand, and you're buying the name.
Even though we all dump on it, it could be a moneymaker still. I don't know.
Right.
But,
You'd have to look at the books because it looks dumpy, and it's not a place we'd want to stay at. But I bet you that place makes some money.
And as far as MGM getting rid of it, I don't think that really is any indication of how they're doing. Although we don't really follow the business side too well. But they had kind of always kept Circus Circus separate. It even had a separate players club. It wasn't part of M Life, right? So I don't know. It's almost like they never really accepted it as one of their properties.
Yeah, it's your sister you don't want to acknowledge you got.
What's this now?
For whatever reason.
Okay, all right.
Hey, you know what Circus Circus has is they have that RV parking lot.
Yes, they do.
And a lot of people took advantage of that. Like people who were like, say you're going to Utah or something, you stop in Vegas, they'd spin there. You got the hookups and the toilet issue there, which is gambling.
It's always a gamble.
It's always a gamble.
All right. Next up, our buddy Marty.
Mark and Dr. Mike. Hey, Marty from Reno. Just want to say thanks, guys. Met you guys last weekend at the summit. Played a little bit with you guys over at Bally's and Planet Hollywood. Had a good time. Mark, great role, buddy. And I just want to say how much I appreciate meeting you guys. And hope we can do it again soon. Thanks again. Love the show.
Yeah, finally met Marty. We had a great session at Planet Hollywood.
We had a great session with Marty at Planet, and
yeah.
we did pretty good at Bally's too.
Yeah.
It was I think I won a little there.
Yeah,
I made a big comeback there.
Yes, that's what it was.
I was down quite a bit, and then Marty came and the table heated up.
Yeah.
They must do something special for Marty. They must turn.
They knew Marty.
Yeah, they must turn those tables up.
They knew Marty.
Turn the flames up on those tables because we were doing pretty well.
Yeah.
But it was very nice to meet Marty.
Yes.
And he's a true gambler.
Well, and hopefully we'll see him again. Maybe we'll get up to Reno sometime.
Yes.
Too.
Well, I definitely will. I plan on going sooner than later.
Yeah. Good. All right. Another Mike.
Hey, how's it going, Mark and Dr. Mike? This is Mike and Angie calling from Southern California. We met you guys down at Harris SoCal at the beginning of September and played craps with you. It was my first time at the table. I was able to, the dice were pretty cold, so I wasn't able to do much, but ended up going back down to Paula Casino just this past weekend, and things went a lot differently. The tables were great. They had $5 table on Friday night, 2 tables there. One was 5, one was 10. Saturday and Sunday, they were, $10 tables, which is definitely within my bankroll. And my wife played craps for the first time. She had a great time. The dealers were fantastic. If I could just name a few that I remember, there was Da Vinci, Martine, Savo. They were training him on the stick. And then there was also Todd. There was several more, but I don't really remember their names. But absolutely fantastic, great experience. Friday night, I was able to turn a $300 bankroll into $1,000. I was playing pretty conservatively at first, the way Mark plays and the way he suggested, with pass line full odds, a couple come bets, maybe placing a few numbers once I started winning. And then I remembered something that Mike told me when the three of us played at Harrah's. And Mark, you were on a fairly good roll there. You rolled for about a half hour. And at some point, Dr. Mike said, I don't want to tell you exactly how to play, but you might consider pressing your bets now. And his voice clicked in my head that Friday night, and I started pressing my bets. I was making some hard bets. Those hit. I parlayed them. One of them hit again, and was able to cash out $1,000 on Friday night. So it was a great experience. Thank you so much for the podcast. It's been a lot of fun listening to you guys. I'm looking forward to the next episode now that I'm completely caught up. And hopefully we can see you guys again down at Harris SoCal. All right. Thanks.
Well, congratulations, Mike, and congratulations to you, Dr. Mike, for apparently giving him good advice.
Well, you know what, Mark, and I mean this in all seriousness. All right. We joke around a lot, but I remember saying that to him because you were on a good roll.
Yeah.
He was still making the same bets, and I'm like, well, I don't want to, change. Because usually I'll say that and then it's
you weren't insisting.
No, but
you weren't being snide about it. It wasn't like, you might think about pressing your bet. No, you weren't like that.
It's just life. You have to know when to hit the gas and when to hit the brake.
Okay.
That's a secret to life.
Well,
I'm letting it out right now.
All right,
so
good.
Everyone knows, secret to life, know when to hit the gas, know when to hit the brake.
Okay.
And, sometimes it doesn't work.
Yep.
Sometimes you end up in the dry cleaner's window. but sometimes it's good to hit that gas a little bit.
All right.
Other times
we got another T-shirt idea. When are we going to get these T-shirts out? It's never going to happen.
What is he going to say? Sometimes you end in the dry cleaner's window.
That's it. Hey, another great review from Paula. Yeah, I guess we better go.
We should go.
2 in 1 episode.
Especially if we're going to have all Paula talk at one episode.
Yeah, there will be. All right. Next up is Brandon.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. Brandon here from Colorado. I just wanted to pass along something that I was listening to a couple of podcasts ago. You had a caller talk about $5 craps at Excalibur. That is kind of my go-to place when I want to play low-limit craps. I've never not seen $5 craps there. And the dealers are really friendly. They have a great time. They always try to keep the table lively. They do keep good track of your bets. And it seems like they really want to help out the new players with, what type of bets to make. And it's just a really good time when I want to play lower limit craps. Not my cup of tea for a hotel, but certainly a fun place to play. And then the second thing that you talked about, I think this was on the same podcast, was getting the table limit lowered if nobody's playing or the limit's too high for your bankroll. This was about a year and a half ago. I was walking through Mandalay, and they had a full crew around a table, and it was $15, and the table was empty. I walked by, and I said, hey, would you guys consider lowering it to 10? And, a couple nods and stares, and they said, yep, we'll lower it to 10 for you. So I bought in, did really well, won a few $100, and I made sure to tip the crew really, really well because I figured they're providing me my form of entertainment right now. They did a favor for me, so I'm going to make sure to compensate them well. And I think that's kind of an important lesson regardless is win or lose, make sure that the dealers are getting theirs, because they provided you a good time. Make sure you provide them a good time. So anyway, that's all I got. Thanks, guys. Hope you're doing well. Take care.
Good job, Brandon.
Yep, good job.
Good job.
And good to hear again about Excalibur being the low roller place on the Strip.
As a matter of fact, didn't you get an email from somebody?
I recommended Excalibur as a place close to the airport.
Yeah, he wanted the place close to the airport.
Just because of all the good things we've heard about Excalibur lately. To be honest, we have not been there in a while. We don't get down to South Strip very often.
But when we used to go, I liked it.
Yeah, and
I always liked Excalibur.
We keep hearing good things. So, yeah.
Yeah, and good, whether you believe in karma or not. If you're nice to people, it does come back.
It is nice to be nice to people.
Yeah, it makes you feel good.
Yes.
And that's how it comes back to you.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's literally correct.
Yeah.
All right, next call.
Hey, guys, this is Jana from Houston. I so wanted to be there at the summit, and I'm not going to be able to be there. Y'all are probably already there by the time this hits. We have got a grandbaby coming in December, so we are saving up all of my husband's accumulated vacation time and everything, so we'll be able to go to Fort Worth to see our grandbaby be born. And as exciting as that is, I'm that much sadder that I'm not going to get to see you guys. But I hope y'all have a fun time, a winning time, and we hopefully will see you one of these days. Take care.
Yeah, we missed you at this summit, Jana, but congratulations on the grandchild.
If you got a grandchild coming out, grandchild's coming out.
And maybe one of these future meetups, we'll be able to play with you.
Definitely.
All right, on the last episode, we had a couple of calls. One listener was questioning why there weren't newer slots, some of the newer fangled slots at Harrah's Northern California. And another listener was speculating that maybe slot machines pay off better if you're a new player. You put your player's card in or you're using free play. Well, Professor Slots has some thoughts.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's John from Professor Slots. Last week, your listener Christian asked about the lack of themed slot machines at Harrah's Northern California. The casino is choosing to do this, but what's interesting to consider is their reasons for doing so. The Aristocrat provides both the Game of Thrones and the Walking Dead themed slot machines mentioned by your listener. I wonder if the casino is having a contract dispute with Aristocrat. It's an interesting time as those games are not nearly as popular as they once were, now that both shows are more or less over. The casino and slots manufacturer are both making far less money than they once did with those machines. It seems like an obvious time for a contract renegotiation, yes? My suggestion to Christian is to look around the casino for other Aristocrat machines. Are there any? If there aren't, there's your proof of a contract dispute. You might say this is speculation, but I'd call it critical thinking and deductive reasoning. AP-level stuff. If other Aristocrat machines are there, then player appeal for those specific theme-based machines has shown a sharp drop. Game appeal is tracked very closely by casinos. You can bet on that. For Frank's question about winning as new players' club members, I completely agree with you, Mark. It's not possible with gaming regulations the way they are for Class 3 slot machines. I'm far more concerned about, say, Class 2 historic horse racing, HHR, machines in Kentucky. They're so unregulated that a lot of unfairness is quite possible, including losing when using a player's club card. It's a thing there, and that's what you can get with weak gaming regulations. Finally, Mark, you mentioned some things about advantage plays not existing because too many people would take advantage. We should go over the history of card counting sometime. Thanks, guys. Keep up the great work.
Now, I never said that advantage plays don't exist, all right? What I said about this specific situation was if the casinos were making it so that new players win on the slots, that advantage players would find a way to exploit that, right?
Right.
And I think that's true. And I think it would be such an obvious thing that casinos would stop doing it. So that was kind of my point on that. Hey, I know there are advantage plays out there. People take advantage of them all the time. So I just want to make that clear.
I'd like a good definition of what is an advantage play.
All right, well, I'll give you a simple one.
Okay.
An advantage play is a play where you statistically have the edge in a wager.
Okay, so not a lower advantage by the casino, but you actually have
you actually have the edge.
Mm-hmm. See, that's what I want clarified.
Yeah.
So if you actually have an edge, you can make a living at that.
Yes, that would be an advantage play. And there are people out there making a living at it through many means. Some are obvious means like poker, maybe not so obvious like playing video poker with a small house edge, but then taking advantage of free play and comps and things like that.
Right.
And, there are myriad other things too. So, yeah.
I mean, I just, wonder how long those plays last and, finding new plays.
Well, sure. I mean, that is a lot of... sometimes plays die because the casino catches on. And other times, they're not noticing these plays because they don't see it in their bottom line. So,
So they just let it continue.
Yeah.
And can somebody actually make a decent living at
Well, again, apparently, but we're not advantage players. We're not in the know. So,
since we are a recreational
we're right. They're not going to give up their secrets to guys like us.
No.
Anyway, thanks for your thoughts, John. All right, one more call, of course.
I hope it's from a Mike.
All right, let's listen.
Hi, guys. This is Mike from Pittsburgh. Quick question about craps. The dealers told me that I can make a smaller bet for them. I like to play the whirl bet, so I'll do a 5-1 two-way whirl bet. Did they get paid the normal amount on all those payouts even if it's a $1 bet, or did they take a fifth of what they normally would get? I never asked. I never see what they pay when I hit it, but just wondering. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, good question. So it is going to depend. It's going to depend on the casino.
Let me handle the most obvious thing.
Okay.
If it's a 7, it's a push.
Yes,
they don't get anything.
That's right. So their $1 will push. But again, a whirl bet is actually 5 separate bets. So when you're betting $1 for them, that's technically a 20-cent bet on those 5 bets, 2, 3, 11, 12, and 7, right? So the first thing you have to consider is, does the casino pay at the lower prop bet payouts or the higher ones? And what I mean by that is, do the 3 and 11 pay 15-1 or 15-4-1?
Right.
It's a difference of 1 unit. 15-1 pays more.
Right.
15-1 pays
less.
1 unit less.
Right.
Same with the 2 and 12. Does it pay 30-1 or 34-1? The 32-1 is more. If the casino you're playing at, the payouts are 15-1 and 30-1, then for that $1 bet that you're making for the dealers, yes, a 7 is a push. If 2 or 12 comes up, it's just a $5 win. And that's correct based on the payouts.
Right.
There's no rounding or anything. Just $5 plus their bet stays out there. Typically they don't pick it up.
Out there.
And if a 3 or 11 comes up, it pays $2 exactly. Right.
Correct.
Now, if you're at a casino where it's those higher payouts, technically on a 2 or 12, it should pay $5.20. So, with probably very few exceptions, the casino is going to round down and only give the dealers $5.
Right.
Same with the 3 and 11, it'll pay $2.20. They're going to round down.
Yeah.
There might be some places that round up, maybe in Atlantic City because they've kind of got that roundup rule. But so
most of them are going to round down because they don't have quarters.
Right. They don't have dimes.
Yeah, they don't have dimes.
Yeah.
They're not paying you.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, thanks for all the calls, everybody. The Breeders' Cup is coming up. It's going to be going off before our next episode. It's on November 1st and 2nd at Santa Anita.
As long as Santa Anita is still open.
It's going to be more controversial than usual because these last few meets at Santa Anita, there has been an exorbitant number of horse fatalities.
An inordinately high number of horse fatalities.
For the Breeders' Cup, hopefully all the horses will be healthy and they won't have any problems. But that's certainly been in the news.
Yeah, well, and especially here in Southern California. And, I'm surprised they're having it there. I know it's all planned ahead of time.
That was the thing, yeah.
But gosh, it's so risky. If something happens and a horse dies practicing or on a track during the Breeders' Cup, that is going to devastate horse racing, I think.
Well, let's hope for the best. And for those enjoying the race, good luck. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, recurring donations from Nathan, from Brian Dancer, from Brian and Sarah. It was good to see you guys at the summit. And from Josh, also good to see you at the summit.
It's been a while since we've seen
thanks for those recurring donations. Also, a donation from Jonathan, trying this karma thing again. Thanks very much, Jonathan. Also from Alex, karma donation for my upcoming trip to Caesars Windsor and Four Winds in New Buffalo, Michigan. Good luck to you. Also from Tom in Philadelphia, love the podcast. Thanks, Tom. Also a donation from Eric, donating while listening to your podcast, karma donation for October 20th, 48-hour layover Vegas trip. Oh, good. Well, hopefully you had a good trip. Also, a donation from Robin at Anytime Gambling. Hope all went well at the summit. Here's an Embrace the Math donation for all you do. Someday I'll visit San Diego. Until then, thanks for the coverage, advice, stories, and entertainment. Thanks, Robin. And finally, a donation from Ryan. Karma donation for a guy's trip, November 7th through the 11th. Here's to hitting the All Tall Small, a slot hand pay, and the elusive Royal. Staying at the Nugget with the Silver Fox. Ooh. Sounds mysterious.
Yes.
Going to be epic. Thanks for the great content. Thanks very much, Ryan.
I hope he hits the Royal.
I do too.
Yeah. So this last weekend, my wife went out with me to Harrah's Rincon on Saturday night just for real quick to get our free play and come home. She played the free play. She had 7 hands where she missed the Royal by 1 card.
Really?
Yeah. 2 of them, it was like, the ace of spades. She had all the rest. And one of them, she got the right
rank, but not the right suit.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's known as Travel Fanboy.
Yeah, that's Travel Fanboy.
Oh, I guess it has to be the same color. That's also.
I think
so I don't know if it was the same color.
The same color too. But anyway, can you believe that many times?
Yes, I can.
In $300 worth of free play?
Hey, speaking of Royal Flushes and Robin, he got a Royal Flush in a home game here recently.
Right, I saw that email. Yeah.
I've never gotten a Royal. You know what happened to me though? I don't think I told you this last night at cards. I lost with 4 6s. No wild card game. 4 6s I lost to a straight flush.
That's a bad beat.
Yep. On the river, it was the 6 of diamonds.
Yeah.
Gave me 4 6s, and it filled in Bill's straight flush.
Wow.
6 to the 10. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. Now, Mike, this last Sunday, the Chargers lost their game. And it was the kind of thing where if it had happened to any other team, your jaw would have hit the floor and you would think, that is incredible. How could that possibly have happened? But it was the Chargers. I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
That was the most miserable end to a game. I am 60 years old and I've watched a lot of football and I have never seen a game that was more miserable. I mean, even if you're not a fan of either of those two teams, you got to think to yourself, what the hell went on? It was absolutely ridiculous.
Now, Mike, the week before, when they were playing Pittsburgh in L.A., when the stadium was full of Pittsburgh fans, I wrote to you and I said, Mike, you got to dump this team.
Yep.
And what did you say to me?
I said done.
You said done.
Yeah.
So that they're done? So
I am through with this.
I'm sorry.
Diego Chargers.
I talked over you. Please say that again.
I am through with the San Diego Chargers.
Good for you.
I love football, and I will watch a lot of Charger games because they're on TV here, number one.
Yeah, right.
And number two, I watch all the football games. I mean, I just don't watch them. You know, I watch every game, college and pro, as many as I can see. But that was pathetic. That was the most pathetic showing by a professional team I've ever seen. And I'm a Padre fan. Okay?
Wow. No, I'll tell you, during that Pittsburgh game, I've been, like I said, indifferent to the Chargers. Sometimes I'm rooting for them, sometimes against them. But during that Pittsburgh game, I was angry.
Yes.
I was angry. Like, what are they doing in L.A.? Nobody wants them up there.
Right.
You know, it's just absolutely terrible. It's a terrible situation. Nobody is winning in this situation. It's just awful.
No, that's the thing. Nobody is winning because the seats are full of the opposing team all the time. If they're even full, half the time you look and it only seats 30,000 and it looks like there's like 18,000 people there. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And if I was a player on the Chargers, I'd be really upset just because I'd be thinking, I'm supposed to be in the NFL. I thought I was done with college.
Yeah, right.
I mean, and a small college. I mean, seriously, you watch an Alabama game.
Well, come on.
And you see, I mean, there's like 150,000 people going crazy.
Yeah.
I watched a game. I can't remember now. It was a college game this last weekend. And they introduced the teams. The teams ran on the field. One team is dancing. The home team's like dancing and doing their little thing. The other team's dancing. And they pan the stands and people are just going back and forth with their hands and standing up and screaming and waving. And I'm thinking, why doesn't this happen in the NFL?
Yeah, it's true. There is a difference. There's a big difference.
There's a huge difference. It doesn't happen in the NFL
as far as fans
anywhere.
go. Yeah.
And the fans are so passionate and so excited about the game. And it's like, oh, the NFL. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of through with the Chargers. Well, I am through with the Chargers, but I'm kind of through with the NFL too. Even though I love football, I can't stop watching.
You're going to keep watching it, sure.
Oh, I'm going to keep watching it because I love football.
All right.
But God, oh my God, it's terrible.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's end on a high note here.
Well, the high note is I want to say that thanks again to Hunter and the other people who were involved in putting on the summit because did an excellent job.
It's a lot of work.
As usual, it's a ton of work. It's a ton of work. And he probably doesn't get nearly enough credit for that. And, you know, it was nice to see everybody that we don't get to see very often.
Yeah, very much so.
So we're always happy to see people that we know and, you know, we think about you. And, you know, the gambling wasn't good, but, you know, that's not the first time we've had a bad Vegas trip.
Not at all.
So it's just going to sting a little longer.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to sit on the toilet for a while.
Oh, that's a shame. I hope that it's not related, actually, now that you say it. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Oh, sweet mother, I love you, Dr. Mike.